Today in Unit 3rd in Environmental Studies we concerned with the water pollution. Now you think about that water pollution is the one of the major problem all over world. In India it is extreme in megacities as well as towns as well as villages also. So once upon a time what happened, water is a pure liquid, and you know that we can also drink water from the rivers, from the wells, from the bore wells and many sources directly. But nowadays what happened, due to the contamination, okay, which happened due to the agriculture runoff or industrial runoff, domestic effluent and substances are flow into the water bodies, and the same pollutant via water may comes to the organism and causes diseases or many problems. Now today we concerned with the water pollution, its causes, its effects and remedial measures in Indian scenario. Now think about that. In case of the water pollution, major causes are there. So first of all, in this topic we concerned with the introduction to water pollution, include definition, scope, global perspective. Then in second, causes of water pollution, industrial, agriculture, domestic and more. Then types of water pollutant, chemical, biological, physical and radiological types. Then effect of water pollution. Next, okay, content, human health, aquatic life and ecosystem. In Indian scenario, we able to see that how the major rivers of India, Ganga, Yamuna, coastal and groundwater polluted, and finally we concerned with the remedial measures. Now we start with the introduction of water pollution. So first of all we see that a definition of water pollution. So what is water pollution? You see that water pollution is the contamination of water bodies. It may fresh water as well as marine water. So fresh water include rivers, lakes, wells, and marine water include oceans, seas. Okay, now you think about that. So such water get harmful substances or harmful substances mixed with such water physically. It may physical contaminants, chemical contaminants as well as biological contaminants, and you know that radiations or radioactive substances also mixed. So such kind of hazardous substances when mixed with water makes water unsafe for drinking or any other purpose, and detrimental to human as well as other living organisms including plants. Now think about that. Here 2 billion people nearly, okay, lack safe drinking water according to the report of WHO. Then 70% India's surface water is contaminated. Then 37.7 million nearly Indian affected by the waterborne diseases per year, and you know that India ranks 6th in the water stress globally. Now you think about that, water covers approximately 71% Earth's surface, but only 2.5% fresh water is accessible. Okay, amongst the 2.5%, only 1% is accessible for drinking or any other human as well as for living organism. Then India has 4% of global fresh water, but support 17% of world's population. Major water bodies in India, Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Krishna, faces severe pollution of water. Now you think about next. So causes or sources, those causes water pollution. You think about that industry or industrialization, its development is major cause concerned with the water pollution. So you know that textile industries, paper, tannery, chemical industries or pesticide industries heavily discharge heavy metals like chromium, lead, mercury, arsenic into the rivers. Example, Tirupur textile units, okay, and Noyal river heavily polluted by such kind of heavy metals. Now you think about that, agriculture runoff is the second cause of water pollution in India. All over the world, excessive use of fertilizer including NPK, fertilizers and pesticides and herbicide leads to the nutrient runoff and eutrophication of river or water bodies. Major issue we observed in Punjab and Haryana. And next source of pollution is domestic sewage. You know that only 37% of India's sewage receives treatment, which is secondary treatment, partial treatment. But remaining 61,948, okay, MLD of sewage generated daily in India, untreated waste flows directly into the river like Ganga, Yamuna, and many rivers are there and causes heavy pollution. So domestic sewage without treatment or partially treated also causes heavy pollution of Indian water bodies, okay, fresh water bodies as well as marine water bodies. And you think about that, next cause of water pollution is the oil spills and marine pollution. Now you think about that, most of the raw crude oil comes from different countries to India for refining purpose. So in refineries, most of the crude oil fractionated into different components, purified, and during that most of the waste uh, goes to the ocean or seas or water bodies. Not only that, oil spills are also one of the major cause of marine pollution or sea pollution. So seeping activities, tanker accidents, and offshore drilling cause oil spills. Example 2017, Ennore oil spill is one of the example, and Chennai coast pollution. Okay, this is one of the example of oil spill and heavy marine pollution. Now think about that. Next cause is chemical and hazardous waste. So mining leaches, many mines are there, different elemental mines are there, coal mines are there. Those having metals, heavy metals as well as other pollutant. So leaching is one of the cause, okay, of heavy pollution. It pollute groundwater as well as surface water. Then pharmaceutical waste, hospital effluents, okay, those are major concern with the pollution of water, especially water bodies. Those water can be used as a drinking water or irrigation purpose. And you see that one of the example is Patancheru MIDC industrial zone of Mushi River, Hyderabad. It is an example of chemical and hazardous waste pollution. Okay. Then next reason of water pollution is the deforestation. You know that most of the forest and trees from the forest hold the soil. Okay, but what happened due to the deforestation after heavy raining, with the surface runoff of the rainwater, most of the soil cover leaches out or flown away. Okay, so it causes pollution of water bodies, and you know that urbanization is also one of the reason of water pollution. So erosion, increased runoff, and sedimentation all are the causes of water pollution. Rapid urbanization disrupts natural water bodies. Example, Bangalore lakes, one of the deforestation as well as urbanization who causes water pollution. So these are the causes of water pollution. Now you think about chemical pollutants, types of water pollutant. So we have seen causes, now types of water pollutant. So first kind of water pollutant include chemical pollutants. Now you think about that, water is a universal solvent and different pollutants can either suspend or dissolve in the water heavily. So heavy metals, especially lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and chromium, most of the water bodies contaminated with such heavy metals. Then pesticide, herbicide, generally DDT, BSC, or many more, okay, heavily causes water pollution. Those mostly comes from the agricultural fields with surface runoff. Then determinants and surfactants. You know that detergents and surfactants are majorly comes from the textile industry or any other industries, and those causes heavy pollution of water, especially rivers as well as other water bodies, large lakes. Then pharmaceutical compounds. So pharmaceutical compound most of the times are anthropogenic, and anthropogenic compound causes heavy pollution to the water. So then nitrates and phosphates, generally not nitrates, phosphates come from the chemical fertilizers from the field. Excess fertilizer containing phosphates and nitrogen with the heavy raining, with the raining surface runoff comes to the water bodies and causes pollution. So these are chemical pollutants. Now next one, physical pollutants. Now you think about that, suspended solids, silt, soil, sediments, all comes after the surface runoff of rainy water. Then thermal power plants effluents also causes heavy water pollution. Plastics and microplastics definitely mixes with water causes heavy pollution. Radioactive particles, those generated or comes from the mine as well as power plants or any other sources causes heavy pollution. Turbidity causing substances, okay, any substance, those are solid particle, also causes the heavy water pollution. Okay, these are the physical pollutant. Now biological pollutant, you know that every water also contains the microorganisms, and pathogenic microorganisms are mostly comes from the domestic or hospital or such kind of sources. So pathogenic bacteria, example E. coli and Vibrio cholerae, generally comes to the water and causes heavy pollution and hazardous to the human as well as other living organism health. Then viruses, you think about that. In case of viruses, hepatitis A and rotavirus, those also causes heavy pollution of water and diseases to the human, especially young ones. Then protozoa, you know that Giardia and Cryptosporidium, these are the two protozoans causes diseases in animals or the human. So generally what happens, these are also pathogens. Algal blooms, especially cyanobacteria, causes toxic effect on the water ecosystem, and eutrophication like effects happen due to such algal blooms. And helminthic parasites also one of the cause of biological pollutants or contribute in biological pollution of water. Then nutrient pollutants, to see that those are domestic, especially waste or fertilizer. Okay, those nutrient excess nitrogen from fertilizers, okay, causes heavy pollution of water. Then phosphorus from detergents also causes heavy pollution of water, then causes eutrophication of lakes. And if this going on, it causes hypoxic condition with dead zone in the lakes, okay, as well as water bodies. Example, Chilika lake and Bernard lake, these are example having such kind of adverse effect of eutrophication. So you know that four kinds of water pollutants are there: chemical, physical, biological and nutrient, causes heavy pollution of water. Now you think about the next effects. In case of the human, heavy amount of water pollutant when comes to the water bodies causes different diseases. So one of the example is cholera and typhoid. Cholera and typhoid both are waterborne diseases. Okay, pathogen comes from the sewage. When sewage directly mixes from the domestic area to the water bodies, and you see that example Ganga basin and UP Bihar basin water bodies completely polluted with such kind of pathogen who causes cholera and typhoid. Then you think about fluorosis, especially dental and skeletal disorders. Excess fluoride happen due to the sedimentation or leaching. And Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh water bodies, ground level water bodies shows such kind of hazardous defects on human, like a fluorosis due to the excess amount of fluoride in water bodies. Then arsenicosis, this is one of the disease or condition caused due to the arsenic. Okay, arsenic pollutant of soil as well as water. Now West Bengal and Jharkhand, these are two states where arsenicosis seen in people. Then methemoglobinemia, okay, high nitrate in water when it causes blue baby syndrome in children's, example in Punjab, okay, due to the excess of nitrates. You know that Punjab is a state where most of the fertilizers, chemical fertilizers are heavily used. Okay, so mixes of nitrate in water bodies, okay, and those comes to the child, or maybe those causes heavy hazard to the baby, okay, and it resulted to the blue baby syndrome in childs or young childs. Then you think about that cancer, skin and bladder, and such kind of cancers are possible when arsenic and chromium pollute the water bodies. And you have seen tanneries in Kanpur, means Uttar Pradesh and Unnao, okay, are heavily polluted with the arsenic and chromium, and shown effects on population, okay, or people who having skin cancer as well as bladder cancer. Then lead toxicity, lead pipes, you know that those are concerns of such kind of lead toxicity, and old urban infrastructure shows such kind of toxicity. Then hepatitis A and hepatitis E, these are the two diseases caused due to the fecal contamination of water, and recurring outbreaks in Kerala is an example of hepatitis A and E. Now you think about that, waterborne diseases causes nearly approximately 4 lakh deaths annually in India, according to the ICMR. Economic burden estimated at rupees 36,600 crores per year. Okay, due to such kind of adverse effect on human population in India. Now you think about that effects on ecosystem as well as aquatic ecosystem and especially environment. Now you think about that aquatic ecosystem include freshwater ecosystem, ecosystem of river, lake, stagnant water bodies, ponds, as well as ecosystem of rivers. So thermal pollution raises water temperature, okay, reduces dissolved oxygen, and most of the water animals like a fish killed, okay, due to the thermal power plant pollution. Then heavy metals causes bioaccumulation in fish via food chain, and you know that when such fishes we get as a food, so there is a magnification, means same metal comes to the human as well as other living organisms, those take as a fish as a food. So bioaccumulation and biomagnification causes many health problems to the human as well as other living organisms. So you think about that. Then decline of hilsa fish, mahashir and gangetic dolphin in Indian rivers, it is only due to the water pollution, heavy water pollution. Dead zones in Chilika Lake due to the aquaculture runoff. So these are the few examples only which is responsible for the loss of aquatic biodiversity due to the water pollution. Now think about eutrophication and algal blooms. In case of the environment, especially excess nitrogen phosphate causes explosive growth, excess growth of algae in water bodies, depletes oxygen, and in future this condition when going on, this particular ecosystem becomes dead in future. So cyanobacterial bloom releases toxins we call as the microcystins, and this toxic definitely affects on livestock also, animals also, cattle also. Then Bernard Lake, Hussain Sagar in Hyderabad, Dal Lake, Srinagar, severely affected by such kind of eutrophication and algal blooms. Now, these algal blooms, eutrophication blocks sunlight and kills submerged aquatic plants also. So, plants as well as animal, water animal get affected by such kind of eutrophication and algal blooms. Then you think about soil and groundwater degradation. So, contaminated irrigation water renders farmland infertile. Agricultural production also decreases because soil fertility also decreases. Then heavy metal uptake by crops affects food safety. Definitely, when such polluted water go to the field, crop also take this water, heavy metal accumulate into the tissue of grains as well as plant products, and such kind of plant products when we get as a food, definitely those biomagnify into the human as well as other living organism. It causes heavy hazards. Over 60% of India's rural population depends on groundwater. Okay, groundwater includes bore well. Okay, so if the groundwater is heavily polluted, definitely it causes hazard to the human as well as other livestock and other animals. So definitely it is one of the major problem of soil pollution as well as groundwater pollution. Arsenic contamination in 86 districts of 10 states. Okay, so this is the data collected by CGWB, shows that how the water pollution causes heavy pollution of soil and groundwater degradation, means groundwater quality degradation. So these are the effects of water pollution, those happen on water bodies or causes water pollution. Now we think about that Indian scenario. Those are example of a specific river, those are heavily polluted by the such kind of pollutant, water pollutant. So Ganga river, first of all we see that nearly Ganga river pass from different states like Bihar, then Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Okay, during its journey Ganga river generally passes from 29 cities, 70 towns, and hundreds of villages. Now you think about that, receives nearly 3000 mld sewage from the domestic region and industrial effluents daily. High BOD, biological oxygen demand is very high, greater than 30 milligram per liter near Kanpur, Varanasi, Patna is an example of how these rivers are polluted by the sewage and industrial effluent. So one of the national animal of importance is Gangetic dolphin, unique endemic species of India in river. So Gangetic dolphins are declared as a critically endangered due to the heavy pollution. Now the Gangetic dolphins are rarely seen in the river water. Okay, so now Gangetic dolphins are critically endangered animals, water animals. Now you think about that, National Mission for Clean Ganga, okay, NMCG, generally invest 20,000 crore rupees for cleaning of Ganga river. Now you think about Yamuna river. So 2% of total length Delhi stretch carries 80% of total pollution. In case of Yamuna river, Delhi discharges nearly 3,800 mld untreated sewage daily. So foam froth formation due to excess phosphate visible at Kalindi Kunj, dissolved oxygen nearly zero, no oxygen in daily stretch, biologically dead. Yamuna action plan first, second, third, largely unsuccessful. It means that now a new plan is there to need generally treat the river water near Delhi, as well as you will keep the river fresh as well as clean, okay, throughout the length. Now think about that, Musi, Noyal and Periyar. So Musi, in case of Hyderabad, receives pharmaceutical and industrial effluent. Noyal, Tirupur, heavy metal contamination from textile dyeing. Periyar, in Kerala, factory mercury contamination is there. And Patancheru, industrial estate, groundwater fluoride and heavy metal contamination is there. Along ship breaking yard, this is a shipyard, causes pollution of PCBs, asbestos and heavy metals through runoff. So all these are the rivers or major scenario examples of river. Those are polluted by different water pollutant. Now we think about that. In case of the Indian scenario, like river, lakes, coastal areas as well as groundwater also polluted. Now think about that, Chilika Lake in Odisha, heavily polluted. Okay, so siltation, invasive species, aquaculture, effluents, and Ramsar site at risk. Then in case of Vembanad Lake, Kerala, eutrophication, water hyacinth overgrowth, and metal contaminations causes heavy pollution. In case of Dal Lake, Jammu and Kashmir, floating gardens and houseboat sewage causes high nutrient loading and causes pollution. Then Hussain Sagar in Telangana, industrial effluent sewage, okay, lead and cadmium contamination causes heavy pollution, as well as algal blooms are there, causes eutrophication. Then Bangalore lakes, Bangalore lakes generally polluted by the foam laden lakes, Bellandur, Varthur, due to the phosphate pollution. Now we think about the next kind of scenario, groundwater contamination. Arsenic, nearly 86 districts in 10 states of West Bengal worstly polluted by the arsenic, causes heavy hazards to the human population as well as animal population. Then fluoride, nearly 200 plus districts having skeletal fluorosis in Rajasthan, heavily polluted by the fluoride or fluorine. Then nitrates, excess fertilizer used in Punjab and Haryana causes nitrate, like a blue baby disorders in young children or just born children. Then seawater intrusion, coastal Gujarat and Tamil Nadu are also heavily polluted, also causes of groundwater pollution. Then coastal and marine pollution. You think about that, plastic debris in case of Indian generate 9.46 mt plastic per year, 40% uncollected, okay, causes heavy pollution of water. 2017 Ennore oil spill devastated Cheney coast and marine life, heavy loss of marine life happened there in 2017. Then coastal bleaching, Lakshadweep and Gulf of Mannar heavily polluted. Mangrove degradation is always happening throughout India in marine coastal areas like Sundarban, Pichavaram, reduced natural filtration, or you know that mangroves also protect us from tsunami like hazards. Okay, so mangrove plantation is required. Its degradation we try to stop. Now next one. Finally, we concern with the remedial measures, means which treatments are sufficiently treat the water pollution. You think about that. Conventional sewage treatment methods are there, includes preliminary treatment. Simply screens are there, metal screens are there. Okay, and those metal screens screens the large sized pollutant. Grit removal means silts are there, or soil or stones are there, pellets are there. So such kind of grit removal also. In preliminary treatment, large sized particles we try to remove, or material we try to remove like a plastic. Then in case of primary treatment, we go for sedimentation and flotation technique. Those may help to remove the pollutants. Those can be sedimented under the effect of gravity. Okay, and after flotation also we can remove it through different methods. Then you think about secondary treatment. Heavy sludge is there, heavy water contaminants are there. So what happened here, in case of secondary pollutant, activated sludge method, trickling filter, and many such kind of biological methods are there. Secondary treatment is a biological method of wastewater treatment. So such biological treatments useful in treating the water. Then tertiary treatment, chlorination, ultraviolet treatment, RO, ozone, these are tertiary treatment. So what happened here? Most of the industrial effluent as well as domestic effluent treated up to the secondary treatment, because tertiary treatment is a costly treatment. So many places secondary treatment is the last treatment. So some partially treated water directly discharged into the water bodies causes heavy pollution. And you know that the drinking water quality pollutant remove means we try to remove all the pollutant from the water. We try to kill all the microorganisms to make the water drinkable. In that case we need a tertiary treatment. So chlorination, ultraviolet, RO, ozone, these are the tertiary treatment generally required when we try to use a water or the use of water. Now certain advanced treatments are there. Those technologies useful in future and nowadays for treatment of water and water bodies. So bioremediation, when a large amount of water is there, okay, in rivers, in water bodies, okay, or in marine habitat. So bioremediation is one of the best technique. Use of microorganisms, natural microorganisms, those having capability to degrade the pollutants like Pseudomonas and Bacillus to degrade pollutant. Nowadays what happened, Ganga river water treated by such kind of bioremediation methods. And you know that this project is conducted by the IIT Roorkee. Now phytoremediation, aquatic plants like water hyacinth, then vetiver and lemna, these are small plants. So when such plants are used, those plants having capability to absorb the pollutant like a heavy metal or any other primary secondary pollutant, absorb them, okay, use as a nutrient. And what happen here, such kind of phytoremediation is very much effective to clean the water bodies. Then applied in Krishnagiri reservoir. Okay, so phytoremediation is applied in Krishnagiri reservoir. It is one of the example of successful phytoremediation of water. Then constructed wetlands. You know that Sundarban or many such wetlands are there. So engineered systems mimicking natural wetlands for tertiary treatments. Piloted treatment you see seen in Chennai as well as Auroville. Now we think about that next kind of advanced treatment technology is membrane bioreactor. So in this case combines biological treatment as well as ultrafiltration. Both ultrafiltration is a tertiary treatment, both useful in treating polluted water successfully. So every water treatment generally or primarily need certain primary treatments as well as secondary treatments. In case of Delhi, Bangalore, large scale STPs are there. Okay, those uses membrane bioreactor to treat the polluted water. And in future, such advanced technology can be easily or regularly used to treat the water. Then electrocoagulation, electrical current removes suspended solids as well as the heavy metals those generally colloidal particles are also there, used in tannery effluent treatment in Tamil Nadu. So electrical currents used for electrocoagulation, and we try to remove the heavy metals as a pollutant from the water. Then you think about the solar distillation units and RO systems, specially decentralized safe water in arsenic and fluoride affected villages. So Jal Jeevan mission is there. Those are implemented to get the safe water to people, okay, through solar distillation and RO systems. So these are the remedial measures generally we used. Okay, so everything is okay, but what happens? Certain laws, policies, programs, legislations are required to avoid water pollution through different sources. Now you think about that. Key Indian legislations are there. Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act in 1974 establishes generally to stop the pollution of PCBs, regulates discharge standards. Okay, then Environment Protection Act 1986 generally umbrella legislation, and MOEFCC authority also important law to avoid kind of water pollution. National water policy is there, those confirmed in 2012 prioritizes water as a national resource, and equity and conservation is required. Hazardous waste management rule 2016 regulates industrial hazardous waste disposal. Solid waste management rule 2016 controls municipal solid waste near water bodies. Jal Shakti Abhiyan 2019, okay, water conservation and harvesting across 256 water stressed district in this case. So such kind of legislations are firmly implemented to stop the heavy pollution of water. Now you know that certain government programs are there, like a Namami Gange program. Okay, so this is one of the flagship program to clean the river Ganga. Spends nearly 20,000 crore to stop or to clean the water which is contaminated by the sewage. Means sewage treatments are there, ghat development, afforestation along Ganga river. So these are the remedial measures applied to clean the Ganga river. Okay. Now Jal Jeevan Mission 2024 generally tap water connections to every rural household for drinking purpose, household purpose, and water quality testing. Both comes under the Jal Jeevan Mission. Okay, to get the safe drinking water to every citizen of India. Then Atal Mission of Rejuvenation Amrut. So this is one of the program by led by the government, generally for the urban water supply and sewage infrastructure in 500 cities of India. Okay, ensures the clean and neat water to the citizens. Then National Aquifer Mapping. In this case, groundwater mapping, those are contaminated or not, management in arsenic and fluoride zone to stop heavy pollution of groundwater. Then Central Pollution Control Board real-time water quality monitoring, online monitoring of 107 rivers across India. It helps in decreasing or reducing the heavy pollution of water in future also. Now conclusion of our today's topic. So water pollution is a multi-sectoral crisis resulting coordinated action across industry, agriculture, governance, and civil society. Then India faces severe pressure from the domestic sewage. Nearly 40% STP is non-functional. Those are not functional for treatment of water, industrial discharge, and agriculture runoff. You think about that. Technology alone is insufficient. Social behavior, okay, we try to educate the people for that. Strict enforcement of PCB norms, okay, Pollution Control Board norms, and decentralized solutions are critical for stopping the water pollution. Then SDG Goal 6, clean water sanitation demands treating 100% of general wastewater by 2030. India must accelerate STP capacity. Okay. Now you think about that, community participation, Jal Samitis, indigenous knowledge, and bio-based remediation offer scalable, low-cost solutions for rural India, okay, for wastewater treatment. Then strengthening Central Pollution Control Board and State Pollution Control Boards monitoring zero liquid discharge policies for industries and biogas from sewage sludge are priority action in future, then water is the driving force of all nature. So this is a one of the sentence said by the Leonardo da Vinci. Finally, you see that these are the references we have to use for the study of water pollution in depth. Thank you.